or David as Keegan now calls him, and Les Ferdinand, the striker, to replace Andy Cole. The capacity crowd expected Coventry to be taken apart, but it was never that easy, despite an early success. Gillespie's superb cross found Robert Lee, and that was a goal which should have calmed the nerves. A good start for Lee after 9 goals last season. But it took a late penalty when Peter Beardsley was brought down to seal United's victory. The Newcastle captain clearly enjoyed opening his account and effectively blunted Coventry's spirited second-half fight back. But the Geordies are still talking tonight about goal number 3. Egan paid £6 million for him.
I think we'll play better this season. Hope we will. But we'll also maybe play as well and not get the goals and not hang in as well as we did. But yeah, I think at the end of the day we were just a little bit more...
Coventry City were unlucky not to beat the multi-million-pound men of Arsenal. The visitors were confined to just a few chances, the best of them a shot from David Platt, which went agonisingly wide. But Arsenal won't have been too disappointed to leave with a share of the points.
Right, let's have a look at the table then on this second Saturday. Just 2.
He took the lead against Coventry as early as the 4th minute. Gavin Peacock brought down by David Burrows. No sign of nerves as Dennis Wise put away the penalty. Then came a sensational outside-of-the-foot pass, hallmarked Wood Hullett. Mark Hughes rode his balance to make it 2-0, and only 10 minutes played. But just on half-time came a bolt from the light blue. Another of the summer's bargain buys, the Brazilian Isaias, struck his first goal for his new club. In the second half, it was more like the old Chelsea, as the new Coventry stole an equaliser. Comedy of errors in the 6-yard area. Peter Undlov had the last laugh. Chelsea 2, Coventry 2.
Been there longer. They now have an enterprising-looking team under Ron Atkinson. Their visitors today, unbeaten Nottingham Forest. Commentary from John Champion.
South Americans are in vogue at the moment, and one of them is charged with orchestrating the continuing evolution of Coventry City under Ron Atkinson. The eccentric René Higuita isn't coming to Highfield Road, but the Brazilian-born Isaias has already made quite an impression here. Signed for a song from Benfica, he's the man who ambushed Arsenal with 3 goals in the European Cup a few seasons back. The Portuguese side won 4-2 overall, with Kevin Campbell scoring for Arsenal. Now released from the strictures of Highbury, Campbell is part of the post-Collymore era at Forest. Unbeaten so far, they've brought back Lars Bohinen in midfield. The Italian Silenzi is on the bench, and Stuart Pearce, who missed a penalty here last season, has now recovered from a hamstring injury. Coventry's entire team cost less than Collymore. Apart from Isaias, Telfer, Solarco and Paul Williams are the new boys. In fact, 7 of the players have arrived in the 7 months that Ron Atkinson has been in charge. His other major contribution has been to put about 5,000 people on the gate for each home game. The referee for this Midlands derby is a Midlander, Peter Jones. Forest are defending the longest unbeaten run in the Premiership, stretching back 17 matches to mid-February. Coventry have somehow flirted with and avoided relegation so often in the past. Now they have a whole new outlook, like their manager, based on flamboyance. Phillips pumps the ball forward, and that'll be an early touch for Coventry's Australian goalkeeper John Phelan, who's replaced the injured Steve Grizovic. Pearce looking for the broad chest of Campbell, and now here's the Dutchman Roy, backed by a firm challenge from Paul Williams. Dublin, Isaias, Brazilian by birth, Portuguese by naturalisation through marriage. Here's Burrows, and Telfer, first time, and he may well feel he should at least have hit the target. The new signing from Luton Town. He's already scored once against Manchester City. Crossley's long clearance. Over the head of Campbell, and Phelan comes out quickly. Phelan, who's impressed Ron Atkinson in his brief spell in the first team so far, one of 7 goalkeepers on Coventry's books. Williams to Dublin. Back from Telfer. Here's a chance for Dublin. First time. He hurried it just a little bit. And he shows his frustration by slapping his thigh with his palm of his hand. Well, the home supporter enjoying this. They're getting used to an upturn in fortunes under Ron Atkinson. And Dion Dublin has been very much to the fore in that. Brian Burrows. Dublin on that lateral run. What a header! Oh, splendid header by Dion Dublin. And they love him in the sky blue city. They're hoping that their fortunes will reach sky high with the number 10 in sky blue. There was the cross from Brian Burrows, the longest serving Coventry player. Fully 50 yards. Where was the Forest defender? He was ball watching, not Dublin watching. And that's the result. Dion Dublin, his second goal of the season. Burrows, the creator, helped, aided and abetted by the Forest centre-back. There's Dublin's header, and there's a despairing dive from Mark Crossley. Dion Dublin, 2 goals already this season, and a celebration of a year at Coventry City. Forest have yet to really make their mark. Stone, Roy. Bounces out fortuitously to Stone, who will try a shot. It was always rising, and as a rugby conversion would have been excellent. And there's the man who guided Coventry to their greatest honour, the 1987 FA Cup, John Sillett. Mistake by Phillips. Here's Unlove. Guess who's running through the centre? Only Dion Dublin. And Unlove is excellent in these possessions and getting in a cross onto his left foot. It's deflected, and still it's not away by Forest. Now Forest can break. It's 3 against 3 for Heenan, Roy to the left, Campbell to the right, and he was taken out fairly brutally by Peter Unlove, of all people, not noted as a hard player, and Heenan happily is back on his feet. Unlove now in the wall, and this is just about in Stuart Pearce territory. 3 in the wall, in fact, but he plays it short to Verheenan, blocked by Paul Williams. Back to David Phillips, and it nearly took the keeper by surprise. He has a rifle shot in either foot, David Phillips. That one wasn't quite powerful enough. Chettle hoists it. Williams had to be sure, and was. Oh, Williams has missed the back pass. Here's a chance for Brian Roy, onto his favoured left foot. Easy as you like. A gift goal to the Dutchman Brian Roy. Awful defending by Coventry City. The pass across the face of the home penalty area, the one thing that you're always told not to do. Coventry did it, Williams missed it, and Brian Roy won't score a simpler goal all season. All he had to do was go round Williams, and that to a player of his calibre is no trouble at all. There's the back pass. Here's a moment Paul Williams will always want to forget, and one that Brian Roy will be happy has been captured photographically. 1-1. Telfer for Coventry. A fierce shot. Oh, and Crossley spilt it. He went down well at the near post and formed the barrier, but couldn't make a clean catch. It's behind for a corner. Salako with the corner, aiming inevitably for Dublin. Oh, Roy possibly was fouled, but here's Richardson. Dublin's there again. Oh, he turned it goalwards, and Crossley made an excellent save. Dublin and Unlove were both in there. A long right leg stretched out from Dion Dublin. But was it he or Unlove who made the final contact? Ultimately, it'll be academic. Dublin there with the right foot and Crossley with the save. Here's the corner. Little away. Verheenan. Now to Wone. First time splitting the Coventry defence. And here's Campbell. 2 in the centre. Wone and Stone. Here is Stone. Oh, Highland was grateful they got through to him. A great deal more pace about this game now. Solarco. Unlove, who started the move, has gone herring forward through the centre. Still Solarco. Dublin. Isaias. Oh, good save. Back to Isaias. Dublin took it away from him, and Telfer with the shot. And a chance goes begging. And Isaias and Dublin may have words. Isaias came charging through. He looks piratical and ferocious. His shot was definitely fierce. But then, when it came back after Crossley had made a fine parry, Dublin got in his way. Had he not done, Coventry might have regained the lead. Solarco for Coventry. Three waiting for a centre. It's Shekel that gets in between Unlove and Dublin and saves the day for Nottingham Forest. Four in the area, three outside. Telfer with the delivery. Too far. Unlove keeps it in. Tangles with Pearce. And Isaias is obdurate. Now Dublin, taken down well, struck well, and not for the first time this afternoon, a spot of dropsy from the rather eccentric Mark Crossley. Isaias did ever so well to regain possession. Dublin is cheeky and confident and full of ability, and nearly a second goal. And now a small piece of footballing history from Nottingham Forest. The first ever Italian from Serie A to play in the English Premiership. 6'5" tall, from Torino. Andrea Silenzi. He says he has to be called Andy. Andrea is a girl's name, which rather begs the question as to why his parents gave him it in the first place. Isaias. He has lovely vision and a super touch. Here's David Burrows. On to Solarco. Three in the centre. Here's the cross. Telfer with the header. Great save, Crossley. Brilliant save by Mark Crossley. Often eccentric, often brilliant. And that was the latter. Solarco delivered the perfect cross. Telfer arrived late, planted a firm header, one-handed, and kept out. Telfer again with the cross, and this time it's Cooper rising at the near post. Coventry enjoying a good spell. Flicked on to Unlove. Dublin. The shot blocked by the defender. Isaias with another shot. Again it takes a nick off a Forest player. And behind. Isaias likes to get into those positions on the edge of the penalty area, and he's been close once or twice today. Paul Telfer to take the corner. Williams is up from the back. Williams flicks it on. Pearce away. Richardson with a clever header. Back to Telfer. Oh, a driven cross. I think he might like to take that again. Frank Clark looks whimsical, and Ron Atkinson somewhat quizzical. Good use of the chest by Roy. Baheenan, Wone through the centre. Oh, the keeper stood up well. He had no option. Still, it's not away. Coventry are asleep. All but David Burrows. And Burrows was bundled over by Roy. Referee waves play on. Little to Silenzi. Offside. There's the future Coventry City manager as of July 1997. Cooper. Burrows didn't see Silenzi coming. And it's off Paul Williams for a corner. Cooper and Chettle are forward from the back for this corner taken by Woe. Driven this time towards the near post. Up in the air by Telfer. And out as far as Cooper. Acrobatic and just wide. Colin Cooper scores his fair share of goals, quite often from distance with his boot. That time he was closer in. Solarco as we move into stoppage time. Dublin off the head of Solarco, out comes Crossley. And the referee decides that that is sufficient. A second half that didn't really match up to the excitement of the first period. Dion Dublin was the man that gave Coventry an 11th minute lead. Brian Burrows created it. There were plenty of first half chances, especially for Forest. In the second half, Crossley produced one remarkable one-handed save. But Forest are still unbeaten. Today, the Midlands derby has ended at 1-1.
We're disappointed that we haven't won. I mean, that's 3 draws on the bounce now, and you say that's the equivalent of 1 win. But at least I've seen good signs again from our team. And like you say, Forest are the sort of side that you often play against them and then find you've outplayed them and find they've nicked you.
Well, it's a decent result because we didn't play particularly well today. I don't think we played well enough to deserve to win the game. So we've got to be fairly grateful that we got out of it with a point.
I think today we had 6 or 7 chances, open chances to score, and we didn't do it. So it's important that we keep on creating, and well, one day they come.
You seem very happy here at Coventry, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. We've got a lot of good people around us. We think we've got some decent players, and we think there'll be a lot of very good sides come to this ground and don't go away with what Forest have gone away with today.
It was pretty entertaining, wasn't it? And Coventry these days have got a few star names in the side.
Yeah, Ron's teams like to play football, and they've got Unlove and Solarco that are talented and can go past people. But still today, I thought the biggest threat was Dublin in the air, and that proved correct, the first goal. But Forest will be disappointed with this because when it comes to Burrows here, the three players have circled. One of them's got to pressurise the ball, but nobody moves towards Burrows, and he looks up, another little touch forward, at your leisure. Lets Dublin get to the edge of the box, pings it about 60 yards. Dublin comes in, keeper in a terrible position, and it's 1-0. Good headed goal, but very bad defensively.
Then they gave away a goal.
Well, I've seen this many times, and I can tell you through experience it's a hardship, because what happens is if you have a little bit of skill and you sort of play out of defence, suddenly you think, well, I'm a really good player. And when you do that, you've got to have 100% concentration and don't become complacent. And this is what Paul Williams did. He's like a Brazilian here, the way he brings this down. It's just superb, and he plays it out wide. And I bet you stand there and think, well, haven't I done well there? But again, what I'm saying is you've got to have 100% concentration for the next one back. And when it comes to him, he's just a little bit complacent, bad touch, and you don't give Brian Roy these sort of chances because you're picking it at the back of the net.
That was a good finish.
That was a good finish. The important thing, he's got to learn from that and don't do it again.
Yeah. Now, what about Forest as championship contenders? They're unbeaten. They're the only unbeaten side.
Can't win the championship. I mean, they did really well last year to qualify for Europe, and there'd be a realistic proposition again, but can't see them winning the championship.
Okay, well...
Inside Stadium, there was a minute's silence for Harold Shepperton, the trainer when England won the World Cup, and a great servant to Middlesbrough Football Club, who died earlier this week. Coventry City are still looking for their first away win of the season. They did take the lead through Isaias, but then let things slip. Middlesbrough took a firm grip, and once again Nick Barmby set up yet another goal, this time for defender Steve Vickers. Coventry manager Ron Atkinson complained afterwards about the contribution made by some of his players, but Brian Robson will have no complaints about his big money signing. Barmby providing the opening for Jan Fjortoft's winner. Middlesbrough have made an encouraging...
Kevin Richardson playing his first match as captain for Coventry with Dion Dublin injured, scoring midway through the first half. Then Nye Lamptey found his shooting boots. Again, it came from distance, and that was 2-0 to Coventry. Hull then had to hang on after a nasty incident just before half-time. Defender Bob Dewhurst sent off, an off-the-ball incident, but the tackle was clumsy. Dewhurst deciding, though, to sort the matter out for himself. The referee didn't like it. Coventry should have added some, but didn't. 2-0 was Hope.
The champions needed a boost after their turgid start to the season. It came from Alan Shearer. Tim Sherwood's corner, Ian Pearce's flick on, and Shearer celebrates his 100th goal for the club. He must have sensed that it was going to be his and Blackburn's day. Minutes later, and Graham Lasso set up Rover's second goal. Colin Henry couldn't believe his luck and Coventry goalkeeper John Fillan faced every goalkeeper's nightmare, the ball between his legs. Coventry will claim, though, that they were unlucky. Peter Unlove rounded Tim Flowers and appeared to be tripped. The Rovers goalkeeper feared the worst as sending off. He survived, though, with a yellow card. And it was Unlove who appeared more unnerved by the incident, missing the penalty. But the Coventry striker did reduce arrears 10 minutes before half-time. Rovers appeared to have cleared the danger when Paul Cook rifled in a cross, and that was a superb finish from the striker. Shearer's second goal effectively sealed the game for Rovers, but the England striker would be the first to acknowledge that it was Mike Newell's role which gave him one of his easier efforts. Shearer's hat-trick underlined why Ray Harford calls the Newell-Shearer duo the best since Batman and Robin. Kapow! It's the first time since the Premiership began that 3 players have scored a hat-trick on the same day. Blackburn's fifth saw Shearer and Newell combining again. For a moment it looked as though Shearer had repaid Newell, but that twist and turn set up Ian Pearce for the goal. The champions clearly are back.
We certainly haven't given up. Obviously we haven't made the start that we would have liked to have, but we've lost the games. They're history now. We can forget about them now. There's no turning back.
Win against Aston Villa, who'd been beaten only once. Coventry had Dave Boost in defence for the first time this season, but were without Dion Dublin and David Burrows. Steve Staunton was playing his first match for Villa this season, but Ireland teammate Paul McGrath was suffering from flu. John Champion saw this one.
Lead. York. Taylor. That's neatly played, diagonally to Townsend, across to Milosevic. Splendid goal, but the offside flag is up on the far side, and it won't count. It was a lovely move, but the linesman on the far side had raised his flag. Maybe next time. Richardson. On to Unlove. He's got space in which to work. Around Staunton. Southgate still to go. Need to get past him. It was a swerving shot, and Bosnich was called into action for the first time. The big men have gone forward for this corner. 7 to aim for John Solarco. Short to Unlove. Back to Solarco again. Oh, it was almost in off Hugo Ehiog. The flick from Telfer. Ehiog didn't know much about it. It struck him and nearly struck the post. Milosevic towards Dwight York, just onside. Now Charles. Milosevic pulls away. There's the header. Should have scored. He won't get too many easier heading chances than that, Savo Milosevic. Charles did all the hard work, and a free header from that sort of distance should at least find the target. Well, that came off Ehiog, I think, and it's behind for a corner. Something of a bonus for Coventry. Solarco to take. It's a useful one. Oh, it's a good header by Paul Telfer. And Bosnich stood his ground. He could do little else. A well-taken corner by Solarco. Telfer's header pushed away. Unlove beaten in the air by Taylor. Townsend beaten by Telfer. Isaias. Solarco to the left. Gary Charles in the way, but only as far as Marcus Hall. That's a decent shot, and a very decent save by Bosnich. Marcus Hall is highly rated, and he has a highly charged shot on that evidence, and that was a fine stop by Bosnich. Right. York gets goal side of boost. Slight lack of support at the moment. Milosevic is trundling forward. York goes it alone. Oh, it's a great turn, and a very good block by Phelan, who narrowed the angle and blocked out the light at the near post. 6 men up for Draper's corner. Here's a 7th. Alan Wright. Now Townsend. On towards Gary Charles. Deflected off Strachan. And here's Draper in space. There's the low cross. Oh, Ehiag had the chance to turn it in. Taylor might still. Still it's not away. Southgate's shot. Milosevic scores. And that seals a Midlands victory in the derby match for Aston Villa. There were 3 clear chances, and eventually, after various Aston Villa players had wasted theirs, Milosevic took his second goal in 8 games for the Serbian, and Aston Villa have a convincing lead. Taylor emerges from a midfield muddle. Now York. Milosevic screaming for it in the centre. Oh, good finish! Now he's got the taste for English football. And what a direct goal. 2 for Milosevic, 3 for Villa, and a good day for the side from the second sitting.
Gaffer is coming, he's make changes, he's bringing his players. And obviously from our point of view, he came there with an idea how he wants us to play. And to be fair, the players have adapted very well, and hopefully that things are going very well for us. And as I say, hope that things carry on from there on in.
We don't start with a tempo. We don't impose ourselves on the game. You've got to earn the right to win games at this level, and that's not what we're doing. We've got some good players in the team. We believe in ourselves, and I think, we're a bit carried away with that. The Premier League's tough. Every game's difficult, and we need to go out there, impose ourselves, and earn the right to win.
Villa look as though they've turned things around, certainly for the moment, anyway.
Dream start for them. I always look at the team sheet and then I look at the Villa team sheet today and think too many good players to be in trouble there. Can't see them winning the championship, but top 6 maybe.
Close. But Coventry have got some star players these days, Trevor, and can't do a thing.
Well, from an attacking point of view, they look sort of far more positive. John Solako, Paul Telfer, Azias. Dublin didn't play today, but with Unlove. So 5 players, they're all good going forward, but they're starting to leak goals at the back, and that's their huge problem, certainly in the last couple of matches. I mean, it was 3 there, but it looked as if it could have been a few more as well, although they looked good going forward the other end.
Thank you. How do you play Liverpool at Old Trafford tomorrow?
His game at Hull was the type of fixture that might just have added to the Premiership casualty list, but a 10th-minute goal from Neil Lamptey took the sting out of any
starts to the campaign, but Wednesday took the lead with the kind of goal every manager dreams about. Kevin Pressman's kick upfield was impressive, so too was Mark Bright's flick on, and a beautiful finish from Guy Whittingham. He's the subject of transfer speculation at the moment. His price might just have gone up a little bit. Coventry should have equalised half a dozen times, and for poor Peter Unlove, was this the miss of the season? Coventry in urgent need of goals. They've only scored 4 more than the Premiership's worst scorers, Manchester City.
Premiership record of 23 matches unbeaten. Manchester City remain bottom despite picking up their 2nd point of the season in the draw with Leeds. They're 3 points behind Bolton, Southampton.
What about the greatest moment in Coventry's history, that May Day 8 years ago when they beat Tottenham Hotspur to become the FA Cup winners. For tonight's winners, there's a place in the last 16 of the Coca-Cola Cup. Your commentator at Highfield Road is Peter Brackley.
Even at 38, Gordon Strachan remains one of the Premier League's most inspirational figures. And despite his own reservations about continuing to play at top level, he's once again been persuaded to put on those magical boots. Coventry's only wins in the last 10 outings were against Hull in the previous round. And they're again tonight without the strength and attack of Dion Dublin, though he has recovered sufficiently from a knee problem to join the substitutes.
Number 6, Kevin Richardson.
Chris Armstrong's first league goal for Tottenham was a long time coming, but his excellent strike against Everton on Sunday was well worth waiting for, and he resumes tonight his flourishing partnership with Teddy Sheringham. Rolf Fox, Tottenham's expensive new signing from Newcastle, is cup-tied, so there's a place in the starting lineup for Ronnie Rosenthal. Tonight's referee is Steve Dunn from Bristol. It's a mild, if rather blustery evening at Highfield Road as Tottenham then kick off, with Coventry so anxious for an upturn in fortune. They've won only once in the Premier this season. In contrast, Spurs have lost only once in 9 games, and they're straight onto the attack here. Chris Armstrong, well, the hero with his goal on Sunday. But this time, well, he was way off target with that golden chance in the opening seconds. Coventry caught napping defensively, and Armstrong has failed to capitalise on it. Hadn't scored in his first 8 games in the Premier since his £4.5 million record move to Tottenham from Crystal Palace. Good love. And to Strachan again. He had such an influence on the game on Saturday. It's a great cross in too. Maybe a chance here. The shot charged down as Lamptey came in. Off goes Armstrong. He's got the better of Williams. With that neat little change of pace. Sheringham's up with him. Still Armstrong. And this time he has scored. Less than 2 minutes gone. John Phelan left stranded then with the speed of Tottenham's counter thrust. Armstrong squandering that first opportunity, but not this time. Sheringham was lurking in the middle, but Armstrong didn't need him. Phelan unable to close him down, and it's gone almost underneath his body. And Tottenham have the lead. Armstrong, who scored twice in the last round against Chester, and has bounced again for Tottenham. Williams first to this one. Likewise, Austin for Spurs. David Booth, the covering defender. Phelan's not happy with these back passes. He's in trouble again. Sheringham wide for Wilson. Armstrong's in the middle, so is Rosenthal. Boost with a header out. Wilson again. Blocked this time by Burrows. It's a neat short passing here from Tottenham. Just look at the appetite there of Gordon Strachan. No cause is lost for him. Salako to Hall. Laptey controlled that superbly there. Off goes Salako. But tracking back though by Sol Campbell. Well, as ever, Ron Atkinson was optimistic beforehand, but it's all going wrong at the moment, thanks to this early flourish from Tottenham. And the goal from the man on the ball now. Chris Armstrong. Dangerous ball into Sheringham, and there's a second one. The combination that has been so promising for Tottenham this season has proved decisive again. And to the delight of Jerry Francis, his team have got to it. There really seemed to be no danger here until the cross was whipped over by Armstrong. In went Sheringham. Phelan wrong-footed. And Spurs have a second goal with 20 minutes gone. Boost couldn't contain the threat of Teddy Sheringham, and that's his 12th goal of the season. Burrows to David Boost. It's a fine pass to Bukayo Salako. Unlav and Laptey in the middle. Telfer as well. And then goes Telfer. Well, he's come close to a goal on that kind of situation before this season. When he arrives on those crosses, he's not quite got to it this one with a firm contact. But at least it was a chance. Well, I wonder what's going through his mind at the moment on Atkinson. He's down on the bench now. He won't be too happy with what he's seen so far. Well, it's been an excellent start for Jerry Francis. 2 goals up his team. He was telling me beforehand how satisfied he's been with their progress generally this season. And certainly fancies a cup run. Sheringham. Marcus Hall. That's out of play. That's a corner. Marcus Hall, who came on as a late substitute on Saturday and has started the game tonight. A player of much potential, Hall, but he's come into a side which is certainly struggling. McMahon with the corner. Oh, there's Howells. And if he'd got hold of that one, that could well have been another goal. They left him unmarked at Coventry. Laptey. Now what can Salako conjure up here? A shot at goal. And to take one. The path did seem to have opened up for him. A lot of movement around him. But he's some way off the target then. John Salako, who's yet to score for Coventry since his move to the club back in the summer. So far, Ron Atkinson with very little to enthuse over. Unlav. Twisting and turning, but not deceiving Gollywood. Howells. Now Sheringham. Strachan. Lamptey heading into the middle. This is Lamptey now. And in, oh, Salako. It was almost a chance. A little more cohesion shown then by Coventry. But still without the end product. Campbell climbing high. Salako again. Here's Unlov. Austin in very quickly. Does seem to have settled into this Tottenham side now, Dean Austin. And it's going to take all Ron Atkinson's powers of motivation to transform this tie in the second half. I'm sure he'll have plenty to say, though, during the half-time interval. A two-goal half-time lead, and Tottenham thoroughly deserved. Chris Armstrong with the first goal after he wasted an earlier chance. Then Teddy Sheringham with the second. And well, to be frank, Coventry have mustered very little in reply. A lot of work to do in the second half for the home side. They trail by 2-0. So off we go then as Coventry start the second half. Hoping they've come up with a game plan that might alter the course of a match which, in the evidence of the first half, Spurs had well under control. Ball taking the throw. Now Richardson on for Unlov. It goes Boost. Now Strachan in towards Unlov. Calderwood is there, and this will be Ali Pickering, who's come on in the second half as substitute, I think, for Brian Burrows. Ron Atkinson has made the change. Strachan teasing Wilson, still Strachan. Across came Campbell to Tottenham's relief. Oh, and Strachan pulled up sharply there, and that looks like a groin injury. Clearly in some distress then, Strachan, as he neatly deceived Clive Wilson. He pulled up in agony. There'll be another corner for Salako to take. Strachan very gingerly hobbling outside the area at the moment. Here's Telfer. Up go Williams and Boost. Now Richardson. Here's Boost. Austin is down for Tottenham. Richardson, the referee allowing play to go on. Here's Strachan. Now Telfer. The cross reached by Williams. Strachan has gone down in total distress. Austin was injured as well. And that's a sight that will certainly sadden Coventry fans all around the stadium. Gordon Strachan. Cleared it out wide here. Oh, just look at that. Oh, there's a discussion going on between Atkinson and Strachan over on the far side. Richardson on for Telfer. Pickering now in support. Lamptey in the middle, and Unlov. The field for handball. Not given. It struck Ronnie Rosenthal. Across. Well, Salako can't reach it. Who's all around Highfield Road from the Coventry fans. There's Hall with a cross in this time. Another appeal for a penalty, and this time it has been given. Coventry have a penalty. No hesitation from Steve Dunn. Handball this time. Played in by Hall. Offence spotted by the referee. The yellow card for Clive Wilson. Unlov. Peter Unlov will take the penalty kick. for Coventry City. A real opportunity for him to bring his team back into the game, and he has. The goal 10 minutes into the second half. And now at last we have a cup tie. Dion Dublin about to come on. And Unlove has steered his team right back into the game, sending Ian Walker the wrong way. Strachan going off. Dublin is on, and Unlove is the goal scorer. Here's Sheringham. Oh, it's superbly on the turn then by Teddy Sheringham. Such quick thinking, and that deserved a goal. Didn't give it a second thought then, and that one was only a whisker away. Laptey. The linesman is flagging. It'll be a free kick to Coventry. They're going to be Strachan now, of course, on these set pieces. He's now shouting from the sidelines. Boost is up from the back, and Williams as well. And it's gone in! An equaliser! David Boost. I think he's going to claim it. Well, no emotion on the face of Ron Atkinson, but he will be absolutely elated at the way his team have responded in the second half. Curled over by Salako, and it looks as if Boost indeed got the final touch there. Just over an hour gone. It's another scramble goal, but Coventry won't mind that. Out by Pickering to Neil Laptey. Telfer combining well with Laptey. Now Dublin. Dublin shot. It's a snapshot too. I don't think he was ready for the pass, if anything, at dear Dublin. But he suddenly found himself with a shooting chance. I thought the ball had squirmed away from him, but he stuck out one of those long legs, and that was pretty close. Dion Dublin relishing his return to the action. Jerry Francis, I know, was concerned beforehand about whether Dublin would be playing or not. It certainly affected his team thinking. But Coventry, as Ron Atkinson will tell you, a much different side now in the second half. Unlove. Played off in by Laptey. That's Boost. And there's the header from Dublin. Salako! 3-2 Coventry. John Salako. What a comeback by Coventry City. 14 minutes to go, and from 2-0 down, they've transformed this tie. They've turned it on their head. There's the header, just kept out from Dublin. In goes Salako, he's first to react. And now it's 3-2. Dublin's header well saved by Walker. Really was a tremendous stop, but he couldn't get back in time to deny John Salako. Salako's first goal for Coventry. And what a vital one it is too. Pickering away to his right. Tottenham at full stretch again. Telfer's in the middle, so is Unlove. And Laptey! So near. Neil Laptey. It's a flowing move by Coventry. Tottenham with players committed upfield. And nobody's picked up Laptey, and it's just wide of the post. Unlove. Here's Sol Campbell. It's come off Dublin! What a goal that would have been. Well, that will force a smile even from Ron Atkinson. That was quite amazing. Well, he's a real cult hero here, Dion Dublin. That would have been a goal to save him. Jerry Francis now a disconsolate figure. Armstrong just wouldn't sit up for him. Richardson to whack it away. It's heart-stopping stuff now, right at the end of this dramatic cup tie. Clive Wilson. Armstrong's in there. Phelan with the save. A deep cross by Clive Wilson, for the header at the end, too tame. That's it! A magnificent comeback by Coventry City in the second half. Peter Unlove with the first from the penalty spot, then David Boost, and finally John Salako with what proved to be the winning goal. There could have been more too for Coventry at the end, but in fairness, Tottenham gave them some very anxious moments until it was finally over. And how the Coventry crowd have relished this recovery by their team. The final score in this Coca-Cola Cup tie at Highfield Road, Coventry 3, Tottenham 2.
You know, to go 2-0 down so early, you know, obviously we felt we had an uphill mountain to climb, and the boys came good. You know, the cup of tea were flying at half-time. You know, there's a few harsh words said, and you know, they struck home. We went out there, we gave a bit of passion, we got together, and we probably could have had 5 second half.
I said to the boys at half-time, the way things are going, you can either get beat here 10, which is a very much a likelihood, or you can go out in glory. You can go through in glory. And to be fair to the players, they've driven, they've worked, the fans have stuck with them. That's been very important. And they've got a sensational result.
Just turned to the Coventry City side in midweek after a 6-week absence with a knee injury. Today at Elland Road, he returned to scoring form with a header from John Salako's cross. Coventry, though, felt unfairly disadvantaged when Gary McAllister and John Pemberton carried off the injured Peter Undlove and promptly took a throw in. That left McAllister free for a shot that David Boost deflected in. McAllister then added Leeds' second with a free kick from 20 yards that owed nothing to gamesmanship. And right at the end, more controversy. When the high ball is knocked down, is it hand or hip that makes contact? Referee Gerald Ashby ruled handball by Marcus Hall. Gary McAllister's spot kick completed his first senior hat-trick, though not without a couple of question marks.
Win at Coventry was a reversal of their Coca-Cola Cup defeat, and England striker Teddy Sheringham takes most of the credit, although the home side were one up in 7 minutes. Dion Dublin's clever touch converting a sniff of a chance into a very good goal. But Spurs took the game by the scruff of the neck with 3 goals in 28 minutes. Sheringham heading on a free kick for Rule Fox to volley his first Spurs goal. Comedians Reeves and Mortimer thought they had copyright on the celebration. 5 minutes later, Fox helped return the compliment to Sheringham, who had an outstanding match. He seemed instinctively to know that goalkeeper John Phelan was off his line. Chris Armstrong's chested pass equally worthy of praise. 30 seconds into the second half, Sheringham set Ronnie Rosenthal free on the left, and when his shot-come-cross was blocked, David Howells arrived to knock in the rebound. Although Coventry pulled one back when Paul Williams got his first goal since arriving from Derby, they're still second bottom, and Ron Atkinson said the defending had been scandalous and hinted that he might plunge into the transfer market.
Newcastle, incidentally, 11-10 on favourites to win the title tonight. At the other end, Manchester City remain at the foot, but they're now just 2 points behind Coventry City.
It wasn't Grzewic's day. He punched away, Leonardson headed it back in. But with Dion Dublin on board, there's always a chance. He made it 3-2 with 20 minutes to go. Although surely the points were Wimbledon's when Coventry's Richard Shaw got a second yellow and red card within 2.5 seconds of his 81st minute challenge. Although before he was anywhere near an early bath, Richardson crossed for Rennie and 9-man Coventry had salvaged something. Both teams could have scored winning goals. Both managers settled for a point.
They've just folded, but they stuck at it, the players stuck at it, and they've got themselves a result.
3-1 up, we were cruising. We had everything in our favour and we've let it slip. Just 2 points that we've obviously thrown away, but you know, they've come at us and they've fought back, but we should be more professional and seal the game.
England into bat backfired. The management, led by Bob Woolmer, is under pressure. Having had no variety at Centurion Park, Clive Exton.
Goodman's ahead of him.
Turns his man, gets in the shot. Excellent effort. Looked very sharp this evening. Scored 10 goals this season, has Goodman, but none in the last 10. That nearly broke the sequence. On by Venus, very powerfully. Another one for Dublin to chase. He'll be exhausted at the end of this game. Has to do so much work. Done well though. Now Unlove. Was thinking about a shot if the ball had come down. Strachan. That's a lovely, intelligent ball to Hall. Inside quickly, Unlove tries to turn once, then again. Now Strachan. Just couldn't get it across. Did get the corner, but he was looking for a goal. Goes deep, it's a difficult ball. That nearly dipped in. Still doing well, coming up with a smile as well. It was a wicked corner, curled in viciously. Strachan again. Away by Ferguson. Love. As again, oh, that was so beautifully done. Strachan, still onside is Hall. Away by Venus. Coventry building up some pressure until that moment. And now Goodman. It's 2 against 2. Ball now peels off, stays onside. Tries to find Goodman again. Disappointing ball. And Coventry the chance to clear the danger. To give away a throw-in. Coventry have had so much of the play despite only having 10 men on the field. The ball comes across again, looking for Dublin. Laid back Hall. Couldn't get over the shot. Ball laid back by Dublin. Hall's shot. High and dry. Rennie misjudged it. And that was an important challenge. Getting the ball back to Gould. Dublin. Thompson happy to clear the ball upfield. Pickering gets it back. Unlove looking for the overlapping run from Pickering again. He's done well. Earned his side a corner. Dublin is the main target. Rennie is also in the box for Strachan. Dublin goes up. Rennie was just behind him. Strachan again. Good overlap. Richardson needs a good ball in. It wasn't. Hall with a shot perhaps. Rankin is able to get the block in. And that will be a foul. And probably a yellow card as well. So Richard goes into the book as well. Third yellow card. And now a free kick for Gordon Strachan to engineer. Goes very deep indeed. Williams with a header!
And Coventry are back in this game. Well, it was a rash challenge by Richards, which earned the free kick. Brilliant delivery by Strachan, and really put away with some aplomb by Williams. And such a vital goal for Coventry, and they're the specialists at playing with reduced numbers. In the last minute of normal time, as it comes to Ferguson, Atkins, they just need to keep possession to Rankin. Goodman. Little nudge from Williams again. Referee says play on. Coventry with a chance to get the ball downfield. Strachan though forced backwards. And again. Strachan went on the overlap. Telfer inside to Richardson. Oh, unfortunately for Coventry, Unlove lost his footing. And we're now into injury time. And it really will have to be something exceptionally dramatic for Coventry to save the day. The Wolves fans sensing victory. A place in the quarter-finals beckoning. Now down to the referee. Forward again with Bull. And another free kick. Bull won't mind that. And again they take their time. Venus finds Ferguson and gets it back. Already played a minute of injury time. It's tough on the Coventry players who've had such a wretched season. But the same can be said of Wolves and how important this victory could be to them. And that's the final whistle. Wolves are through to the quarter-finals. And how important it was. The sending off of Steve Igrizovic turned the game. From the free kick, Mark Venus scored with a spectacular effort. Coventry was still trying to recover when Ferguson blasted a second. And although Williams pulled one back for Coventry in the second half, it wasn't enough. It's Wolves who go through to the quarter-final. The final score, Wolves 2, Coventry 1.
Got ourselves into too much trouble because we were unprofessional at the start. That's simple and pure, isn't it? No sympathy vote. I mean, our lads can't complain about being unlucky. Had a lot of chances. Yeah, we could have salvaged the game, but you can't do the stupid things we've done early on in the game and expect to get away with it.
Well, I've been very pleased from day one. They've responded in excellent fashion. They've been very good in training, and our performances have been better than the results. I'm just pleased for everybody, really, and particularly the dressing room, that we've got the result we deserve tonight.
All right, we've had our bits and pieces. We've played, and we've played decent at times, and we've made a few chances. And I suppose when we got to 2-1, there was a thought that we may have got back in the game because we did play okay there. But we were punished for our own unprofessionalism, which we've been. You know, I think we're naive. We're a good side with the ball. Perhaps we're not good enough when they've got the ball.
One win in the league this season, out of the Coca-Cola Cup. I mean, might be a crisis at some clubs. Is there a crisis at Coventry?
It's not exactly heaven, that's for sure. You know, we've said all the words, we've worked hard enough. I think the team should be good enough. But we get punished for making absolute stupid errors. I mean, look, there was no problem with the first situation when they scored the goal. The second one, Darren Ferguson sliced his way through 3 or 4 of us with not a challenger. Now, I would have thought, having lost a player, having just lost a goal, that if anything, we should have been over-desperate.
But surely the goalkeeper was unprofessional, wasn't he?
Well, that was an unfortunate incident in which, I don't know, I mean, when a goalkeeper goes for a situation like that, it is a natural reaction. Yeah, you can argue that it was unprofessional because he must have known that he was coming out of his goal to actually save the Sharks.
I mean, there's no argument he had to go.
Oh, no, no question about it. I mean, the law's the law. It says that that you've got to go. Mind you, you could argue that his defence didn't do him any favours there, did they?
Yeah, they were unprofessional.
Bully was totally on his own as well.
Yeah, they were unprofessional.
Yeah.
But 3 players sent off in the last 2 games. I mean, they're trying to make it really difficult for Ron. They've got enough problems anyway.
No, I mean, it depends on whether you say they're professional or unprofessional. I mean, the bottom line in all football teams, Gary, is whether you're good enough. And I haven't seen a great deal of Coventry, but what I saw of them there tonight is that they don't look a good enough side. That's the bottom line. You can argue about professionalism as long as you like, but if you're not good enough, someone's got to go down, and they look good candidates.
But they do battle when they've reduced the side by sending off. I mean, they've got a terrific point on Saturday.
You can argue that they battle well. They got a great point against Wimbledon on Saturday, but in actual fact, you have to say that they were losing the game.
All right, well, let's talk about Wolves and Ferguson scoring his first goal. That was a tremendous goal.
It was a super goal. I mean, if you're going to get a goal, I suppose, for your first ever goal, that's not a bad effort in which to get it. Again, you have to say that Ron was right. I mean, Ferguson, who's not the biggest battler in the world, has kept on his feet. He shrugged off a few tackles, got himself into a decent position, and really shouldn't have been in that position to make that strike. But it was a good strike. I mean, from
14 matches without a win. Blackburn there at Highfield Road today, chasing their first away win of the season. But Coventry have apparently agreed terms for Palace's Chris Coleman. Ron Atkinson clearly...
League in midweek, and despite having a few defenders missing, they had a side which on paper looked good. Coventry included on-loan defender Chris White. John Champion is the commentator.
Salaka. Pickering. Oh, Pickering's turned well out of that tricky situation. Across towards Unlove. Nearly to Dublin, Marcus Hall. He knows he should have got it on target. Easy to criticise on this treacherous surface. But when the ball came across and first Unlove couldn't get there, and then Dublin wasn't able to get there, it was all down to Marcus Hall, who's never scored for Coventry, and he still hasn't. Cross is aimed towards Dublin. Sutton got there. Loose ball cannoned away and behind for a corner. Salako to take. It's a deep one. Off the head of Marker and Ripley. Now Hall took it away from Warhurst. Good play by the fullback. Now the measured cross towards Unlove and the header from David Boost, and Coventry have the lead. Well, he doesn't score many, David Boost. But when he does, they tend to be important ones. And one has to say that the pressure that Coventry had been building, despite the difficult conditions, had earned them that goal. Not many with him. They have to hold it up. He went past Berg very easily. Next it's Sutton. Help coming in from Hall. Across towards Dublin with a header. Good save by Flowers. It was a perfectly weighted cross by Marcus Hall. And not a bad parry. Here's Richardson, looking again for Dublin. Oh, he's done ever so well to control this, and he scored! What a wonderful piece of opportunism by the talismanic Dion Dublin. He seems to have a telescopic leg, and he used every inch of it that was available to control that ball, to control it, and to toe poke it in. Well, it's a long time since the Coventry bench could celebrate and enjoy a 2-goal lead. Is this going to be their day at last? Richardson with the free kick. Rennie. Oh, it's crept in! It very definitely is Coventry's day. And Blackburn's away record, dreadful before this game, gets even worse. But for Coventry City, at last there's hope. A simple set-piece routine practiced on the training ground. Richardson took it, and Rennie took the chance with aplomb. Berg. Well claimed by Grizovic. With all his years of experience, he'll know how important to Coventry's season a hefty victory over the champions could be. Unlove. Oh, took it away from the defender Berg. Still it's Unlove. He's kept his feet wonderfully well. That's a terrific goal by Peter Unlove. Very much a case of all his own work. Today goes from awful to absolutely dreadful for Blackburn Rovers. But for Coventry, well, they haven't had a victory like this for many a long day. Unlove should have been stopped long before he got in his shot. One defender, two defender, three defenders, all stood off him, and that's the result. A super individual goal. 4-0. Warhurst. Pickering. Keeper comes and then retreats off the head of Sutton. Telfer. Salako's onside. It's 5. And this must now be the worst day of a wretched, awful season for Blackburn. But for Coventry, hope springs eternal. 5-0 against the champions. It's the sort of result that can really turn a whole season round. Salako with the 5th goal.
Football has an endless capacity to surprise. In all honesty, were you surprised by the result today?
Surprised by the sort of magnitude of it. I'm surprised. When it got to 5-0, I thought if we defend like we normally do, we might just get a point out of this game. Full marks to the players, they stuck at it. Now, anybody that's seen us play a lot of games this season knows, and I've keep stressing it, that we're not a bad side.
12 hours ago, people would be saying, when thinking about the drop, Coventry are candidates. Does this place a question mark against that assessment?
Well, on today's game only, I hope so, yes, definitely. But we're not out of the mess yet. You know, it's only 3 points. It's a good 3 points today, I know that, but we're not out of the mess, and we've got to keep doing that week in and week out. We need to do it, you know, 3 or 4 times more to get out of that mess. We're not out of it yet, and we know we're not.
After you lost at Sheffield Wednesday, I think you wrote in the programme notes today you wanted to go and sit in a darkened room.
I never looked at that in the programme notes. I think that certainly wasn't something I said. I've never wanted to sit in a darkened room, that's for sure.
But you are good at celebrating, Ron, aren't you?
I've forgotten. But I'm sure there'll be some good times ahead.
Blackburn boss Ray Hartford might want to sit in a darkened room this evening. Coventry's defensive record hasn't been good, but they've got players that can score goals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw the game the other night where Sheffield Wednesday put 4 past them, and if you'd said to me that they would beat Blackburn 5-0 today, I thought you'd been in cloud cuckoo land. But I think it's all about clean sheets. If they can get 1 or 2 clean sheets, then they've got a chance, because they've certainly got some nice front players. I like the centre forward, he's scoring goals. I just think that 1 or 2 of them up front can do a bit more when it's 0-0 and 1-0 down.
Trevor, do you think that Big Ron obviously is going to spend some money, but do you think it's still going to be a long, hard season, as Dion Dublin was saying there?
I think their important fact is that they can score goals. If Dublin stays fit, I mean, I think he's such a key part, and since his arrival back, they have been scoring goals regularly. It's just at the other end that the worry. So I think they could be all right now.
Well, you're saying that they can score goals. Let's have a look at a couple of them, because Blackburn's defending. Alan, what do you make of it?
Well, this,
give him a bit of stick now.
This control is unbelievable. It's gone past him. He's brought it back, and the finish is great as well. I'm saying absolutely nothing about the defend there, but the finishing was terrific.
Enlove I mean, this is a typical goal by him. He does get his head down so often and frustrate teammates in better positions, but when he's running and can dribble past defenders and does things instinctively like that, he is very exciting, but he can.
Cantona's equaliser means Manchester United claw back another point on leaders Newcastle. Villa play Forest tomorrow, and they'll go 3rd if they win. Middlesbrough's victory moves them up to 4th. At the bottom, Coventry's 2nd win of the season lifts them away from the bottom, where they're replaced by Bolton. No change in the places above them, though, although Wimbledon, Southampton and Sheffield Wednesday all managed draws today. Everton play West Ham on Monday.
Andy Townsend, still not quite over a knee injury, is only a substitute today, although Paul McGrath is back from Anfield in one piece. 7 of that team have been bought by Atkinson's successor, Brian Little. Mind you, 7 of today's Coventry lineup have been brought in since Big Ron took over there in February. It would have been more, but new loan acquisition Chris White is suspended and Chris Coleman joined Blackburn instead. Still, 4 changes from the side that beat Blackburn so well last Saturday, including a debut for 20-year-old Noel Whelan, a £2 million buy from Leeds United. That equals the Coventry club transfer record. Paul Alcock is today's referee. City have never, ever won at Villa Park in 60 years of trying. Gareth Southgate back in the Villa defence today after a glimpse of the England midfield on Wednesday. You could say Villa have made a slow start because in this fixture at Coventry in September they were already 1 up. Dwight York scored in 15 seconds that day. Fastest goal in the Premiership so far this season. Hugo Ekiog is captaining Aston Villa in the absence of Andy Townsend and Steve Staunton. Coventry lifted themselves just off the bottom with those 5 glorious goals against Blackburn last weekend. Villa have scored a grand total of 5 in their last 6 games. Nonetheless, they're title contenders after flirting so dangerously with relegation themselves last season. Really has been all change in these parts. Paul Williams just there ahead of Savo Milosevic. Telford looking for Unlove and getting it back. Southgate with Unlove, and the ball beats them both. Dublin this time for Hall. Mark Draper. One of those introductory tackles from Kevin Richardson, and the referee quickly introduces the yellow card. Kevin Richardson back on familiar ground, and Mark Draper very quickly on the ground. Milosevic in pursuit, he's got him behind Williams. Savo Milosevic held up by Filan and cleared by Williams. Southgate turning it back in, but the chance had already come and gone for the big Serb. This is his 11th match for Aston Villa here at Villa Park, and he's still to score for the club here at Villa Park. It was an awkward high. Milosevic's touch letting him down. Ball though straight to Taylor, now Draper. Well, Wright did offer to make a forward run, and then checked. Clearance by Boost. Draper winning it fairly. Johnson. Oh, Milosevic wanted to take it. Johnson says, I'll have it. A goal in 12 minutes from Tommy Johnson for Aston Villa. And Savo Milosevic almost took it off him. Johnson made the break inside. That's where the big number 9 says, well, I'll have it if you want. And Johnson said, get out of my way. Thumping finish. Not the best of defending, you'd have to say. He ran past a lot of people. Tommy Johnson, who got in the side because of an initial injury to Andy Townsend, has now scored 4 goals in the 8 games since Brian Little recalled him. Nicely done. Hall has got beyond Southgate. Oh, he went for glory and he had 3 in support. A little bit rash there. Marcus Hall, 19 years of age. And well, confidence of youth, I suppose, but he's getting a little bit of earache from one or two of his senior colleagues. Milosevic, oh, he was held there by Williams, he's pushed it to Johnson anyway, and York, and the flag's up, it won't count. No goal. Dwight York was offside, but I'll tell you what, Aston Villa might have better claims for a penalty. Because as Savo Milosevic turned Williams there, I'm almost certain there was a bit of shirt pulling going on just there, and it really put him off his stride. Johnson miscued and York had got beyond the last defender, and that's why the flag went up. Johnson. Richardson came in late, Johnson didn't like it. Referee happy to give the game a chance. Villa in possession. Ekiop, Johnson again. Now Wright. A little bit isolated there. Unlove got in a challenge. Yellow card shown to Kevin Richardson, he's off. Booked in the opening moments for flying challenge on Mark Draper. Kevin Richardson, the former Aston Villa player, has now been dismissed by the referee. I think what happened there was that Paul Alcock played an advantage when Richardson came in with a headstrong challenge on Johnson, clocked that, and when play stopped, out came the yellow card. Richardson's second. Coventry's 4th dismissal in the last month. Free kick's been given. Coventry did produce a sterling performance with 9 men against Wimbledon recently. Shaw with a free kick, headed by McGrath. If there's anybody on the field who looks like he's had a week off, it's Paul McGrath. Draper. On to Milosevic, only Johnson in the middle for now. Taylor's arriving. It's a useful ball from Milosevic. Filan didn't fancy it. Just lost its flight a little bit. Hall hooked it away. Alan Wright. Mark Draper. Andy Townsend. Hugo Ekiop. Ekiop. It's come off Filan and he's recovered. It was a wicked cross in the first place, and then a well-struck shot by Ekiop, and Filan rode his luck a little bit on both occasions. 2 Australian goalkeepers on view today, John Filan for Coventry, and Mark Bosnich, who was actually in the same Olympic squad with Filan in Barcelona at the other end of the field for Aston Villa. Hall could only hold Milosevic up. Well, you can't pretend he's made a dramatic impact in the English game. And at times it's been a real struggle for him in truth, but 22 years of age and big transfer fee, and if only he could break his duck here at Villa Park. At least Aston Villa have done that. The last 3 fixtures between these two here have been goalless. We knew it couldn't last. Tommy Johnson made sure of that. The other major incident of the first half, the dismissal of the former Aston Villa skipper Kevin Richardson for a second yellow card by Paul Alcock just before the break. 1-0 the home side lead. A changing goal for Aston Villa at half-time. Nigel Spink making his first appearance of the season because Mark Bosnich has picked up a hamstring injury. Ron Atkinson's League Cup success with Aston Villa last year was the first major trophy that the West Midlands had seen since Coventry's FA Cup triumph in 1987. Before that, you have to go back to Villa's European Cup win of '82, Nigel Spink and all that. So much potential around if you visit St Andrews or Molineux, for instance, but so little for the fans here of late. Gary Charles trying to provide more for the Aston Villa fans. Fallon couldn't hold of it, and Milosevic couldn't force it in. Well, you are beginning to wonder, and he is certainly beginning to wonder when he's going to score a goal here. John Fallon, it was awkward for him. He had one of his own defenders distracting him, but he couldn't hold it. At least he made himself big enough to prevent Milosevic from scoring, but it was a rather unconvincing effort. Milosevic is there again, came off Boos. Hooked away as far as Townsend, who will take another throw. Right. Milosevic. Tackled by Whelan. McGrath having a go. That's still rising. Draper picking up the threads again, finding Charles more convincingly this time. By Noel Whelan deep in defence. Tommy Johnson. It's a good cross. Milosevic! Yes! At long last, Savo Milosevic makes himself at home at Aston Villa. Let's get it right. It's far from his first goal for the club, but it is his first goal for the club here in front of the home fans. What a good cross by Johnson. Beat Fallon all ends up. And Milosevic was there when it counted. Well, he arrived setting himself the grand target of 25 goals a season. That was his average with Partizan Belgrade, his last club. And in his 11th match for the club here at Villa Park, he has scored his 6th goal for the club in total. City now attacking the end behind which most of their own supporters are gathered. Of course, the only Premiership derby in the West Midlands. The longer it goes at 2-0, the longer the odds against Coventry comeback. Whelan. Big appeals for a little bit of holding there from behind the goal. Solarco finds Telford. Dublin's there, and that's 2-1. Dion Dublin halves the deficit and revives Coventry City's interest in the game. And he is very, very hot at the moment. 9 goals in 9 games since he came back from injury. Another very good cross. Ekiok couldn't cut it out. And Dublin, behind the Aston Villa central defenders, stooped to conquer. 2-1. Just got a little nudge there from Southgate. Johnson's on his way back from offside, no flag. This is Townsend. Chance for a Coventry break. Marcus Hall still full of running. McGrath's tackle impeccable again. Johnson. Taking Williams on for pace. Ekion, Taylor, Draper, Milosevic. Now he started, he's not going to stop. 2 for Savo Milosevic, 3 for a delighted Aston Villa and their fans. And Derby Day belongs to the man from Belgrade. He scored 2 at Coventry in the first meeting in September, but from that kind of service from Mark Draper, the big man really couldn't miss. And all the words of deliberation and debate that have been written about Aston Villa's club record signing in the last 2 or 3 months. Milosevic has come up with the goods today. He's got a team full of potential goal scorers, and he really must have fancied his chances there when Dion Dublin pulled one back. But it's a long, long way back to come again for Coventry. Shaw on by Whelan. He's turning it on now, look at that. Alan Wright got past Dunlop. Milosevic! Oh, I think his heart was just racing. He set it up beautifully. And just a calm stroke of the ball, that's all he was looking for. If you're looking for a level-headed manager, he's your man. He's known non-league and he's known the big league now. He's known promotion and relegation. He's been sacked. Some would say he's been poached. But he's the sort who just seems to meet triumph and disaster with the same quiet courtesy. Even he getting a little bit aerated about Coventry City's refusal to lie down in this game. Charles. Pressure was there from Dublin. Pickering running into trouble in the space of Townsend and Milosevic. He's got his hat-trick. He's filled his boots today, all right. Savo Milosevic makes it 4-1 for Aston Villa and 3 for him. Pickering just taking a chance too many in pursuit of the game. Milosevic calmly lifting the ball beyond John Filan into the far corner. And who knows what a landmark this could prove to be in the Aston Villa career of this young 22-year-old from Serbia. Derby victories always raise the feel-good factor, and nobody in town will feel better than Savo Milosevic tonight. Aston Villa's record and rather speculative signing has struck gold at Villa Park for the first time. Another unhappy reunion for Ron Atkinson. The happy faces in the West Midlands tonight belong to Aston Villa fans, players, and maybe even tonight their manager too. 4-1 winners.
It's nice to win. I mean, we like winning. There's different ways to win football matches. And today it's probably most pleasing because Savo scored 3 and everybody's been worried for him lately, and he missed a couple early doors. So we were all getting a bit anxious. Yeah, it's good to win. It's nice to get our first double of the season and find ourselves roughly halfway now in 4th place, so that's steady improvement from last season.
Savo, is this your best day in England yet?
Yeah, of course. It's my best day in England. I'm very satisfied, very confident with this game. We played tremendous today.
We've had 4 players sent off in 2 weeks now. I don't get players sent off normally. I've had clubs that we know have players sent off, and yet only one of them has been for over-aggressive play. Now, to be fair, Rico today, he's been 2 innocuous challenges, maybe bookable, but what's ironic, you know, is he's come off with a broken nose and stud marks down his back.
Well, we've seen super subs over the years. Today we saw super Serb, and he was outstanding, wasn't he, Milosevic? Hmm?
He was. He's been under pressure a lot at Villa Park. It's not an easy ground to score. I've never scored there, but he eventually did it today. But early on in the game, it did look like it might be one of those days. This is a long ball from Southgate through the middle. Some shocking defending, as you can see. Milosevic is there circled, and that's Williams and Boost there in the middle. But it came through, and he's not that comfortable on his right foot, and he missed that particular chance. And then at the start of the second half, he had a wonderful opportunity to break his duck at Villa Park. Ball bounces out, tries to twist around with his left foot when just a little lob with the right would have seen him score. But he would be relieved with this one. Good cross, perhaps the keeper should have got it, but a terrific header. And then his confidence, he was a different player. All of a sudden, bad defending, not quite a Dutch build-up, but certainly the finish was sort of a la Kluivert. And he just looked a different player after the first goal went in. He was trying things, he was running with the ball, and I picked this out as the best bit of play, probably of the whole match by anybody. Wonderful pass with the outside of his foot there to Alan Wright. And he gets back on the end of it, and if he'd used his right foot here, he'd have probably missed as well, because he clearly can't use it.
The fans would say, you pay £3.5 million for a player, he ought to be able to use his right foot.
He'd probably pay £7 million if he could. More expensive.
Players who can't
no,
use both foots is what people
yeah,
say.
I mean, there are certain players that try as they can, they just cannot use their other foot, and they're often more gifted with one foot than some players are with 2. But I'm sure he's worked on it. I mean, I would never understand a player that didn't. You get the odd.
Did you work on it?
I had to. I mean, I was not particularly good at all with my left foot, but I worked hard on it over the years, and it became sort of. It got to the stage where I'd have a go with it, and I'd sooner have a go with that than try and accommodate with the right foot.
Oh, Trev there was 2-footed.
Oh, Trev.
Thanks to my dad when I was 5 or 6, he said use both feet. You've got to do it young. You've got to do it young. I mean, probably Gary can't remember now, but I mean, you know, you've got to do it in your primary years, because once you leave primary school, it's too late. Your skills are bedded
Your
down.
dad started you off using the
5,
other
6
foot.
or 7 is the time you've got to start kicking with, because you're too young to have got into the habits of being one foot.
And in the end, were you as confident with the left as you were with the right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought I was left-footed. My natural foot was always my right, but because I was working 5, 6, or 7, once I started playing sort of 11-a-sided games at 8 or 9, I used to kick with whichever foot it came to, and it's only done at a very young age. Though.
My dad used to time.
Coventry, currently second from bottom in the Premiership, are desperately in need of points. So when John Solarco's far post corner found defender Dave Boost rising above Everton's defence early in the second half, you could sense the relief. Paul Rideout came on for Anders Limpar and immediately swung the game in Everton's favour. However, manager Ron Atkinson felt there was a suspicion of offside. Coventry worked hard and were rewarded by obtaining their 3rd league victory of the season, and due to the new signing Noel Whelan, here scoring his first goal for the club, and a nice Christmas present for the manager.
Yeah, but if you look now, you know, we've tightened up on a few teams today now, and who knows if we come out with 2 or 3 more good results over the holiday period, and all of a sudden there's other teams.
Manchester City were the only team in the bottom 7 who didn't get at least a point. Newcastle's lead at the top is now 10 points. Manchester United, who stay second after Tottenham could only draw, play their game in hand tomorrow at Leeds. Liverpool's win takes them up into 3rd place.
Is debatable, although in this battle of the bottom 2, Bolton took the lead. Sasa Kurcek, the jewel in the Wanderers team, initiated the goal, McGinley heading home decisively. Coventry, though, were level 1 minute before half-time. John Solarco found Noel Whelan. Coventry's new signing had everything to do, but didn't he do it well? For Bolton, worse was to come in the last minute of the match, and an example of how to commit Harry-Carry. Keith Brannigan should have cleared this back pass easily. Instead, he tried to fool Noel Whelan, and to put it bluntly, ended up looking rather silly. His lunge at the ball ending up in a foul on Whelan. So Coventry handed 3 points on a plate. John Solarco eased their worries, but confirmed Bolton's battle for survival.
We've conceded two shocking goals. I mean, football is about in both boxes, yet we do commit suicide. I mean, we press that self-destruction button, and it hasn't helped our cause.
And as far as Coventry's win at Bolton is concerned, it's lifted them out of the bottom three, above Queen's Park Rangers and Manchester City. Bolton now 6 points adrift. Wimbledon's second successive holiday win moves them up to 15th. And at the top of the table, with Newcastle not playing today, Manchester United have closed the gap at the top to 4 points. That lead will be cut to a single point if United beat Tottenham on New Year's Day. Field Road looking for their first win in 6 games and must have fancied their chances when they still led through a Neil Heaney goal with just under 5 minutes to go. That's when Noel Whelan picked up the ball and beat all comers. Signed 4 weeks ago from Leeds for £2 million, he's made it 3 goals in 3 games. Ron Atkinson has the receipt. He won't change Whelan.
Too many games.
Plymouth, once Cup semi-finalists, took on Coventry City of the Premiership. The commentator is Tony Gubber.
It's the perfect day for footballers from the lower leagues to prove the equal of their Premiership superiors. 2 seasons ago, Mickey Evans was due to sign for Blackburn Rovers, but he tore ligaments in his ankle. Then, when Leeds and Arsenal expressed interest, he damaged a knee. So he's still at 3rd Division Plymouth, and today an FA Cup participant facing the much more fortunate Noel Whelan, whose £2 million transfer from Leeds to Coventry has been followed by 3 goals in 4 appearances that have helped spark a Premiership revival. 7 points from the last 9 for Coventry, and 10 of this team have remained unchanged throughout those 3 games. Only Kevin Richardson missed 1 through suspension. There's still no Peter Undlove, but this is Coventry at full strength. Well, Plymouth's team includes Ronnie Morget, who hasn't trained all week, but they have left out 2 players who are due to start a suspension next Saturday. Mark Patterson, replaced at right back by Chris Billy, and Gary Clayton, replaced in midfield by Richard Logan. Gary Willard of Worthing, the referee, and a localised warning of severe weather. Winds up to gale force 9 have been predicted, adding its own spice to this 3rd round FA Cup tie. And right on kick-off, the rain starts to fall heavily. Well, in football's pecking order, there are 3 divisions and 55 league places separating these clubs. Of course, it may be closer next season. Plymouth looking for promotion from Division 3. Coventry in the bottom half of the Premier League. That comes right over the top, hit on the volley, hit the outside of the post. And that's Chris Ledbetter arriving with the first Plymouth attack, as that severe weather that we've been warned about comes absolutely sweeping across this little ground. I think Ogrizovic would have had it covered, but it struck the outside of the post, and he must have got a touch. Take the short. It's a long chase for Chris Billy. Morget kept it in play, and Plymouth with another throw. Gordon Strachan, one of the suggestions that he might have played today. It's Chris Billy. And that stays in play. Here's Richardson for Noel Whelan. He'll get there just ahead of Black. Oh, well done, the keeper. Very tidy goalkeeping from the 37-year-old. Kevin Richardson and Noel Whelan combining And Whelan looked favourite. He certainly got there just ahead of the goalkeeper, but he timed it absolutely perfectly. Took it right off his toe. But it's still Plymouth who are pressing. Ledbetter. Here's Adrian Littlejohn. Logan's header. Evans makes a run. Oh, well, Boost went right across the front of Nicky Evans, and Gary Willard is calling him over. Now, this could be a real problem for Coventry if the card which finally comes out is red. They had 4 players sent off in 5 games during November and December. Oh, Chris Billy isn't helping us see exactly what colour it is, and it's red. And Coventry have another player sent off. They've had 6 this season, 4 in Premiership games and 2 in reserve matches. And that challenge by David Boost sees him off the field. And now Plymouth with a free kick which is right on the edge of the penalty area, and they're going to have to go back the full distance. Now who's going to hit this? Oh, they've done it! Ian Baird! It went in like a shell. It may have hit somebody on the way, but Plymouth don't mind. Ian Baird doesn't mind. Ledbetter ran over it. Baird struck it. Yes, there was a deflection off the defender. Well, it may have been Richard Shaw, but it just helped make it an impossible save for Agrizovic. And now Coventry down to 10 men and a goal behind. And suddenly you can sense that Plymouth are absolutely buzzing, and somewhere at the back there, behind the dark glasses, is Ron Atkinson. He's got a terrific record as a cup winner with previous clubs. Won the FA Cup with Manchester United and the League Cup with both Sheffield Wednesday and Aston Villa. Dublin's header has found Solarco. Here's Kevin Richardson. Oh, great shot! He's hit the woodwork. It may be that sort of afternoon for Coventry, and there may be troubles here yet. Here's Adrian Littlejohn. It's a corner. Plymouth mounting an attack with their own crossbar still reverberating from an absolute thumper of a shot from Kevin Richardson. And now to defend at the corner. Some harsh words in the dressing room one expects from Ron Atkinson. Kevin Richardson, as close as you can get to an equaliser without actually seeing it go in. Back off the bar, but it's the goal from Ian Baird which separates the teams at half-time, courtesy of a deflection from his free kick, but he won't mind that. And Plymouth from the 3rd Division leading Premiership Coventry by 1-0. Maybe a cup upset on the cards. Well, Coventry have only won away from home twice this season. Once at Hull in a Coca-Cola Cup tie, and then a last-minute penalty getting them a 2-1 win at Bolton on December the 30th. The only advantage for Coventry perhaps now in this second half will be that they are kicking with the wind. Here's Solarco. Faced by Billy. Gets in a good cross. There's Heathcote at the near post. Laid back by Morgier. Crowd of over 17,000, that's the best of the season here. Almost 5,000 better than the 12.5 which saw the local derby against Exeter on New Year's Day. That's a good ball, no offside against Telfer. Gets inside the defender, they're screaming for it. Oh, it's gone in! Pickering. Coventry have equalised, and Plymouth are stunned. I'm sure he couldn't really have intended that. It was laid back to Keith Pickering. I think he was just knocking it up for players to fight for, and it's just dropped inside the post and right over the head of Kevin Blackwell, and Coventry have the lifeline that they wanted. Surely that was intended as a pass, maybe for the likes of Solarco. Alan Pickering's first goal for Coventry, and what a vital time it's come at. Evans, oh, nice footwork by Evans. He's in on Agrizovic. Oh, he's put it wide. Well, you can't fault the way he created the chance. Maybe he could have gone a yard or two further forward before he hit it. And seen from behind the goal, you could see how badly he sliced it. And maybe on reflection, Mickey Evans will wish that he'd gone forward for one more stride. Maybe wishes too, it'd have been on his right foot. Oh, this is awkward. Solarco. It's two. Suddenly, Coventry have stormed into the lead. It's 2 goals for Coventry in the space of 3 minutes. Solarco getting behind the defenders. Blackwell got a hand on it, but watches in agony as it spins in over the line. Chris Billy trying to pull him back. Well, maybe Big Ron's magic touch when it comes to cup ties will reveal itself again here. And surely whatever they said to the players at half-time, they'll feel that it's produced the end result. 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and they've turned the tie on its head. Gets it into Whelan. Dublin couldn't take it in his stride. Mosley. Heathcote. Oh, he's managed to keep it under considerable pressure. Well, he had. Here's Solarco. To Dublin. Telfer. Good chance again. Telfer. Oh! It's 3. And Coventry have come out in the second half, and they've taken this cup tie by the scruff of the neck. They've just cut Plymouth to ribbons. Dublin helped it on, and Telfer had all the time that he needed to look up. It was close enough to Blackwell for the keeper to have got down, but it was awkward, and it was hit strong. And we've had 57 minutes, and amazingly, 10-man Coventry now lead by 3 goals to 1. So, Chris Twiddy and Mark Saunders on, 12 and 13, replacing Ian Baird and Ronnie Morget. Here's Twiddy. Evans. Little John just keeps it in play. This is Billy. Saunders. Back to Heathcote. Well, they're making tidy progress here at Plymouth. Evans knocks it down. Saunders! His moment of glory beckoned. A young man who, as recently as 3 months ago, was playing non-league football with Tiverton Town, and he's only previously started 1 match and a handful of appearances as a substitute. But the knockdown then was perfect for him. 1 touch to control it. Just drags it wide of the post. This is Evans. Billy. Here's Littlejohn. He got it in very well. Oh. Well, Saunders must have thought the defender would cut it out, and suddenly the defender didn't, and there was the ball at his feet. A second chance for the substitute. He redirected it, but just into the side netting. Evans was coming back to avoid getting offside, but his physical strength has won it. Twiddy. Oh, what a great strike! And what a super save! Richard Logan aiming for the top corner, and Grizovic keeping Coventry's lead secure. Ledbetter takes it. Grizovic comes for it one-handed, but the whistle has gone anyway for a foul on the keeper. Well, Big Ron Atkinson has worked the FA Cup magic again, twice a cup winner with Manchester United. Shaking hands with his left hand, incidentally, because he's hurt the right. But he really turned the game on its head with whatever he said to Coventry at half-time, because his team of 10 men came out and scored 3 in the space of 5 minutes. And in the end, Plymouth's dream of an FA Cup upset was an illusion, and it was Coventry's Premiership qualities which proved decisive. Neil Warnock applauds his players, but in the end they were well beaten. Plymouth 1, Coventry 3.
John, what were the Coventry thoughts when suddenly after 20 minutes you're down to 10 men again and suddenly you're a goal behind?
Well, that's how we got dumped out the Coca-Cola Cup at Wolves, and we thought, here we go again. But, you know, all credit to the lads. We stuck to our guns. We defended well at the end of the first half, because that win was playing a big part, and it just boxed us in, and we just had to dig in and keep things tight. And we just felt if we could make it to the half-time without conceding any more goals, we felt we could turn it around. Gaffers gave us a stern talking to at half-time, you know, told us what it's all about, and we came out. Luckily, the first 15 seemed to go our way.
Neil, obviously disappointed, but what's your reaction to the result?
Well, it's good. It's been a great match, I think, for the viewers. A lot of incidents, and we're just unprofessional for 10 minutes, and we lost the game in that space of time. And against top-quality professionals, you know, you don't give them that sort of opportunity. But good luck to the lads. They fought back again. I thought even at 3-1 we came back, and brilliant save there at the death, and I was quite proud of the lads.
What did you expect of your side?
I expected what we got in the first 45 minutes. It's just difficult against 10 men. Probably give them a lift, if anything, because there were 10 men and they got to roll the sleeves up a little bit. But I thought we'd come at them, and I thought we'd create chances. I think we'd do that against any opposition. And as you can see, the fans, 17,500, whatever they were, it was a tremendous day for Plymouth.
Sort of game you'd have enjoyed playing in, a bit of belting rain,
Yeah,
force 9 wind. Eh?
Well, what you needed there was a big heart and lots of character. And that's me all over, isn't it?
Of course it is.
But seriously, Coventry down to 10 men and... What, you're laughing as well? Coventry down to 10 men and 1-0 down, I thought they were dead and buried. They showed tremendous character.
Number of points, Manchester City at home to Coventry. Barry Davis saw this one.
We have an exceptional talent we wish to nurture. Alan Ball's programme comments about this 22-year-old Georgian, Georgi Kinkladze, a player the Manchester City crowd have fallen in love with, especially since last Wednesday's FA Cup success. Coventry too have a jewel who can lift the spectator from his seat in the Zimbabwean Peter Nlove. Talent to temper the trials of teams at the wrong end of the table. Manchester City make just one change to Wednesday's side. The return after suspension of Ian Brightwell in place of Ray Ingram, who is anyway injured. And they look to find cup form now in league football. Coventry City bring in Brian Burrows to replace the suspended Boost, with Unlove, who's been troubled by an eye injury, starting for the first time since mid-December. So, Act 1 of a contest which will continue at Highfield Road next weekend in the FA Cup. This one is about the 3 points, which at the end of the season will prove to be vital. First shot going harmlessly away from Noah Whelan, who's started well with his new club. 3 goals in 6 games. The referee this afternoon is Robbie Hart. Immel only to Unlove. Again, didn't kid it in the way one anticipates from him. I'm not quite sure what sort of challenge that is. It's an embrace more than anything else. That's it. Back 4 move up. Played through the middle. Well, by Lomas to Flitcroft. Well, scoring goals has been the problem all season. Only 7 in 11 Premiership matches here. Brown, there's space right side, but he's just carried across and allowed Coventry to fill all the spaces. On by Rustler, now to Quinn. He scored 5 times this season. He scored goals from that position throughout his career, but he really got that all wrong. Off the left of the shin bone. Pickering. Love, Dublin, and still chance at either end. Quinn's was the clearer, but there was an opportunity for Dion Dublin, whose goal tally is more than twice that of Quinn this season. Lomas. Oh, it's got through. Mistake by Richard Shaw. Chance for Quinn to make amends, and it's over the top. Back they go in their seats with feelings, I'm sure, we've seen all this before. Mistake by Shaw. He must be hugely relieved. Gordon Strachan using the fact that he's a substitute to some advantage, running up and down the touchline, warming up, but giving instructions all the time. Pickering, a minute of stoppage time, the end of a hugely disappointing half. Love, that's kind, but that's wide. Wrestling matches we've seen in the middle of the field, taken down by Dublin, grappled by Summerby. And it's 0-0 at half-time. 2 really excellent chances falling to Niall Quinn, neither taken, and Manchester City still wait goal number 8 only of this season at Main Road in the Premiership. Steve Lomas has a problem with the small of the back that he ripped towards the end of the first half, but he is to continue at the start of the second. A few words from the referee, Robbie Hart, saying that he is rather stretching the rules about coaching. Because he's a substitute and can run up and down, he's certainly been well clear of the area designated for managers and coaches. Coventry City manager, Ron Atkinson, all smiles and now down on the bench as the second half is about to get underway. And we could do with a bit of sunshine that Ron seems to always enjoy wearing the dark glasses, because frankly the coldest afternoon of the season so far has coincided with, as far as I'm concerned, the worst match I've seen so far. For the optimist, it might get better. He says it. Quite well. Led by Shaw. One mistake in the first half should have proved costly, but didn't. Now Whelan here is offside. Nicky Summerby. Shaw across. Quinn getting a second chance, and the corner. Marcus Hall covering the near post. Telfer as well. Quite a grouping. On the near uprights. And players coming from the back. That's a good save. Turn over the top to deny Kit Simons. Came forward, timed it well. Leckcroft adds it in. Richardson, and then Telfer out. Keith Curl. Tony Book and Alan Ball down on the bench, and the manager, and indeed Asa Hartford. And the manager's going to bring on a very promising youngster. Here's Martin Phillips, 19-year-old, who followed Alan Ball from Exeter for £500,000 in November. Made his debut on New Year's Day. And he's replaced Steve Lovis.
Take him away! Money! Well, protect him! Hold it! Come again!
Signs more promising. Isler. Phillips. Put in the middle. Slightly stumbling run there. It was never really rolling for him. Quinn. Whistler! Well, such a celebration for a goal, but they don't see too many here in the Premiership. It's his 7th of the season. Quinn who set it up, and there was no cover on the German, and it's 1-0 to Manchester City. It's well played by Quinn, and the attacker between two defenders past the advancing goalkeeper. It's taking him some time to reload. Quinn will be fitting a bit better. Set that up well. He's nicely off the instep. But the German nod. Summerby, whose rather more attacking stance at the start of the half. Oh, Whelan! I don't think that Immel could possibly have covered it, but it was the wrong side of the post. But he really did meet it well. Whelan with a love just inside him. He played alongside Dublin in the second half rather than wide on the right. Marcus Hall. Dublin! 1-1. The applause has changed hands. Good cross, and the sort of ball that Dublin feeds on. Fine header, well placed. Marcus Hall with the cross. And real determined header of quality. Goalkeeper right on his line, had too much space to cover. Phillips. Richard Shaw taking command. Always was a tiny defender at Crystal Palace. Rosler, Kuzovic missed it completely, and his Brightwell didn't miss it the second time around, the goalkeeper. He gets applauded by his captain, Dion Dublin, for saving Brightwell's shot. Just nowhere near that. Out by Love, and Brightwell with the shot. Turned over the top. Kinkladze. Nice return from Versler. Lovely width found by Kinkladze. Phillips. Quinn! Good save. One that he would have been expected to make, but even so. Best cross that Phillips was hit. Up went Quinn. And up to went Aguzovic. Shaw. Well, a major improvement in the second half. It had to be so. And for a while it looked as though it was going to go Manchester City's way when Rosler scored in the 56th minute, set up by Niall Quinn. But Dion Dublin, with a fine cross by Marcus Hall, made it 1-1. And the final outcome, probably the right one.
There's so much at stake now. Teams that go down, the financial costs are desperate.
That really, you know, as professionals, I suppose you have to look at that, but we really don't. We look at pride. I mean, our boys don't want to go down. The club have had a, you know, proud record of 30 years unbroken. I think it's 30 years, and we don't want to go down. And it's my bet that if we can just keep pegging away and pegging away, I mean, all of a sudden, you know, we've got an awful lot more points in the last 6 or 7 games than we'd had, you know, prior to that. There'll be teams that are sitting there thinking they're happy. They, you know, it just reminded what happened to Norwich last year. This time Norwich were probably looking towards a European place, and then they get on the glass mountain.
I think we worked really hard. We created a lot of chances, and end of the day, it's not enough. 1 point against a team is also on the bottom from the league.
I'm not disappointed at all, Barry. I thought we were smashing today. They'll win far more games before the end of the season to keep playing like that. We created chances. We may have missed chances, but I thought we dominated the game all the way through, to be honest.
Well, I don't think it's one of the classics, was it, Gary? But I think Coventry will be Coventry will be happier with that point, obviously, as the away side.
I think he'll be happier with the point than the performance, though, because today Coventry were poor. They didn't really play, but they've ground out an important result away from home, and Big Ron will be very pleased with that.
We were mentioning just now that if you're to be successful in the Premiership, you've got to defend well, but you've got to score goals, and that's Manchester City's problem.
Certainly is. They've only scored 13 goals in 23 league games, which is an incredible statistic. I think the two forwards have only got 7 between them, Russell and Quinn, which really isn't good enough. They don't get a great deal of width in the side, which with having a player like Quinn up there is a bit of a problem. But they've certainly got a lot of creativity in midfield, and Kincladze in particular looks a terrific player. He's been a revelation up there all season. We see him here, he picks it up, and this is a classic example of how once they get near the box, the final ball or the final chance is not good enough. Kincladze again here, in and out, great close control, lays off, chance for Brightwell. I mean, it's a nothingness really, that's just nowhere. Here we get him again, knocks the ball out wide there to Simons, hopeful ball inside. And now what he was thinking of there, and nobody going to spot the ball on that one. Here we go, picks it up in midfield, plays a lovely little sort of 1-2-3 really, picks it up again, really goes at people, knocks it out to Flitcroft. Another great chance for Niall Quinn, but good defending from Pickering on that occasion. But he's also always on the edge of the play, always on the periphery of it, knocks it in, great 1-2 with Russell. Not a lot of mobility up front right throughout the afternoon, but knocks it out wide there. And Martin Phillips, good debut, only 20 minutes or so, but did well, knocks it in. That's what Quinn's good at, getting above people in the air, but he's struggling with his chances at the moment on the floor.
But came in a second-half rush. Goal-shy West Ham took the lead when Steve Ogrizovic dropped the ball from the corner, and in the ensuing scramble, Mark Reaper scored. It was 2-0 on the hour as the Hammers suddenly found themselves turned on in front of goal. This time, Tony Cottee rounded Ogrizovic. The Coventry goalkeeper left totally stranded, but it was well taken. But Coventry staged a remarkable fight back. Paul Telfer's cross from the right caused the problems, and captain Dion Dublin ghosted in at the far post to get in the vital touch. Coventry must have thought they'd snatched a point when they equalised a few minutes before the end. Ali Pickering's cross fell to Noel Whelan. Now, he's scored some very important goals already for Coventry, and there's another. But 4 minutes from the end...
In the absence of Tony Adams, who could be out of action until the middle of March following a knee operation today. It's a match, though, that Wright will want to quickly forget. Coventry went in front through Noel Whelan with a calm finish. But that lead lasted less than a minute. Helder's good run and cross, allowing Dennis Bergkamp to score his first goal for 10 weeks. 6 minutes into the second half, Wright was brought down by Hall, a penalty. But Wright's 20th goal.
The winning goal in the league match here, the equaliser in the return fixture at Main Road last month. How Dion Dublin would like to take his side back to one of his old clubs at Old Trafford. But that, of course, would upset a lot of Manchester City supporters who now feel that the arrival of Nigel Clough, who's had 1 win and 1 draw since he joined them from Liverpool, is the start of better things, the turnaround point of their season. One of their supporters said to me, we started so poorly, anything after that had to be a bonus. Check on the 2 lineups. Coventry City picked the same side that got a very creditable draw with Arsenal on Saturday. Peter and Loeb among the substitutes. But Manchester City have to make changes. Phillips, their new young winger, is cup-tied. Frontsek, the German, wasn't signed in time. So that is their lineup with 2 changes. The manager who waits to know who his opponents will be. Coventry City are the team in blue. And the referee is Gerald Ashby of Worcester, the man in charge last May in the FA Cup final. Good atmosphere, and both the managers said after the league match at Main Road, which it has to be said was a rather disappointing game, that the start of the cup tie would bear no relation. Strachan keeping his place in the side. Spent the match at Main Road, walking up and down the touchline, standing his head off. Flag didn't go up, and a A wonderful start for Coventry. Noah Whelan is the goal scorer. Two minutes gone. Coventry have the lead. No complaints from Manchester City. Shaw knocked it in, it got a deflection, and Whelan was unmarked, and the linesman kept his flag down. Well, of course, it's the moment the ball is played, but it must have been, to put it mildly, a very tight decision. Shaw, the deflection was there, and there's no doubt that when the pass was made, Whelan was onside. Keith Curl was between him and the goal. T14s are going to know each other pretty well at the end of this match. Pete Simons of Manchester City, Noah Whelan of Coventry City. Dublin, Richardson, good stop by Gemmell. Nice Coventry build, swift, simple, accurate. And a bit of a hurdle over the ball, which might have confused Aka Immel, but didn't. Corner well won. Telfer, Salako. Not a bad one either by Whelan. Well watched by Shaw. A few arms up from Rössler, and whether Richard is making that point, I don't know, but wouldn't be an unjustified one. Some of it. Need to feed him more like this. Manchester City. Corner off Marcus Brown. Good nod down. Beckcroft. Some of it. Oh, good try. And Nigel Clough is unlucky. It's a good cross. And Shaw missed it. The acrobatics from Nigel Clough, but the ball curling away. That's an indication of the fact that they need him more in the game. Clough. Marcus Hall appealed for offside, it's not given. And here's Rössler, and that's an own goal by David Boost. Came from a threat down the right side, but this time it was Rössler who went out. They all stopped. Marcus Hall was the nearest. And Bust rushing back to put it past his own goalkeeper. Clough who played it through. And the flag stayed down for the second time in the match when the goal is scored. Unlucky player is David Boost. Clough some of it. Got through to Resler. The smile could have been broader. Caught by Whelan, and they're in an embrace, and the free kick is to Coventry City. Indication of how much arms have been waved around and players have been pushed and pulled. Second for Salako, 5 for Coventry City. Oh, and he's unlucky. Telfer won it well. He just curled up away. Oof, could not have been closer. Ball. Clough. Influence in the half has grown. And cleanse it. Got to be careful now. The appeals were all from the spectators. Referee was well placed. Clancy has hurt Dublin's tackle. Really good run after being given the ball by Clough. All carry on the left. Shaw was watching well. He just nicked the ball, did Dion Dublin. Dublin. Ball. Anybody in the crowd can see the names on the back of the Coventry City shirts. Ball again. Salako. Shaw. Ball again. He stopped in his tracks, and Coventry City have scored both goals in the half. Noel Whelan inside 2 minutes, but the second goal by David Booth was into his own net, so the half-time score is 1-1. It's 9 years since Coventry City managed to get past this round. That was in 1987 when they beat Manchester United at Old Trafford and went on to win the FA Cup. Their only success in 113 years for the football club. This is Dion Dublin. And the boo is of considerable support for Manchester City. And there always is, considering the ups and downs that that club has had. I don't think I'm being unfair to say more downs than ups. Their support over the years has been really tremendous. Curl. Flitcroft. Simons. Ressler. Shaw can't get to it. Kick against the German. John Richardson. Ron Atkinson won it twice with Manchester United in 83 and 85. Took home the FA Cup. Hopes, of course, to go back there, and so do the people who are making most of the noise underneath me, the supporters of Manchester City. Dublin, good try. Instant shot, sitting quite nicely, but he got right round it. Again, another arm length. Verdict goes against Summerby. Salako. Out by Curl with Dublin hoping. There's nothing cultured about it, but the game is certainly on something of a knife edge. Onus on Coventry City on their own ground. And I think the referee will show the yellow card, and quite rightly, to Nicky Summerby for that challenge on Gordon Strachan. It's not a man, Gerard Ashby, who's waved the cards around this season. Certainly compared with some, he's way down in total on the league table, but there's still a bit of comment going on between the two players. And it was a bad challenge, there's no doubt about that. And he's lucky that it's only yellow. That really was a poor challenge by Nicky Summerby to a player who deserved better treatment than that. Waiting, and away from the head of David Boost. On by Clough, but to no one in particular. Keith Curl just bangs it away. And Kincladze may get onto it. Still the Georgian. Goal kick. He was disappointed. The challenge didn't win the ball, but it was enough to put Kincladze off. I suspect there was an extra touch. He was certainly pulled there, but there's an extra touch now that he didn't want, and he fell afterwards. Summerby, Paul Telfer. It's done a good job for Coventry. What promise there is being nullified by hard work. And, the second half to the neutral has remained unfulfilled. The FA Cup competition is not about neutrals. Brown. Boost. On the back of Dublin by Simons, takes it quickly. Dublin, good parry. That's where the German's at his best. Heike Immel. But, good quick thinking by Dublin, denied by this man. Given, taken very quickly, and it was a good block. He'd settle for the draw. Further complication of the FA Cup fixture list. He surely feels he should win it this time round. It's frustrating for a manager when your side scores both goals and you don't win. And by Richardson. Kick is in Manchester's favour. It counts as we move into the last 10 minutes. is the player down the middle. Rösler to the left. Clough coming slightly left too. That's looking for Rösler. Manchester ball. Clough. Flitcroft. That's it. Flitcroft. Lomas. Summerby. Lomas. Gets a second chance. Denied twice by Dublin. Flitcroft. Left as Gary Flitcroft puts Manchester City in front. A lot of effort here from Steve Lomas. He was twice denied by Dion Dublin. Third cross was deflected and very, very well reached by Gary Flitcroft. A number of Coventry players in the way. And Flitcroft got there just before Strachan got round it and guided it home. Summerby. Conclezzi. Oh, that's a good strike! Really well hit by Nicky Summerby. And he will certainly relish the chance to take on Alec Ferguson's man. Marcus Hall, again with room down that side. Dublin. Strachan, it was a bit too strong, he improvised well, but he was running out of angle. Oh, Flitcroft making sure that none of his colleagues relax their concentration after this effort. Really did meet it well. Nigel Clough chasing across. Challenged by Brown. Done his job as Michael Brown. It's Salaka though is hurt here. Strashby looks at what's on his left arm and then the one on his right. Lomas, won by Salako, Borrows, Strachan. Clearance by Summerby in the centre-half position. And here's Uwe Rösler. Support coming up to the right. That pulls away. Manchester City keep possession and no more. Flitcroft. Lomas, Clough, blocked by Boost. Brown. Free kick is Coventry's. Pushed to the back by Flitcroft. Brown. Well stretched by Whelan. And used. Strachan. Still Strachan. Dublin! He's done it again. Dion Dublin. Goal in stoppage time keeps Ron Atkinson's team alive. Strachan was hugely involved, and it was predictable that he would be. Brown couldn't get to him, and Dublin off the underside of the crossbar, and it's 2-2. In spite of the physical attempts of Brown, Strachan rode them, and Dublin coolly applied the coup de grace. You have to say that this man deserved to play a part in saving the day. Here's Clough. Here's Resler, but the final whistle has gone. And this fourth round tie in the Littlewood-sponsored FA Cup has still to be resolved. Dion Dublin, again the scourge of Manchester City. Alan Ball thought that his team were through to the Manchester derby, but his team now have to wait and get it right at Main Road. Ron Atkinson's Coventry City still alive. Replay in a week's time after the match at Highfield Road ends Coventry City 2, Manchester City 2.
Ron, tell me about this young player you've got who wears number 26.
Strack. I mean, to be fair, we keep wheeling him out, and when he latched onto that ball right at the death, I'm going, go on, son, one of your all-time bits of magic. Turn the clock back, and marvellous. Stanley Matthews at his best.
He threatened to do that all the way through the match, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he can do. I mean, he's still very fit. He's still got, obviously, he's never going to lose his great quality, and he's got that spirit and fighting spirit that's, you know, never say die. And that's what we need.
It was a good run. He used it, an old head when he got in a very good position, and it was a good goal. I'm just disappointed that the free kick was given in the bottom corner anyway. Good luck to him. He did very well for an old stager, but the first time young Brown had really let the shackles go up that side. He's 18 years of age, that boy, and he gave a real professional performance tonight.
We started off really well, and I think the first half, I think we played well. Second half, we didn't start off too good, and it took us a while to get our feet again. But I thought we played some more good football towards the middle of the second half, and I think it showed towards the end.
Did you think it had gone?
Honestly, did, yes. You know, the time when he had two crosses in, and I couldn't get any distance on the clearances at all, and it seemed to go straight back to him. And I thought, oh no, I've let the lads down here and give away a goal. And luckily for me, I pulled it back for them.
You sure did. Both teams forgot their relegation worries in that. It was a full-blooded cup tie and a very enjoyable one, I thought.
That was a great game to watch.
Yeah.
You know, lots of good play, some bad play, but two teams that were fully committed for 90 minutes. I think they've got too many good players on both sides to go down. I don't think they have any problems there. Coventry are great going forward, but they really are bad defensively. They've got Whelan, that's got 6 goals in 10 games, and Dublin, who I think is a very good player, and they'll get lots of goals for them, but they will lose lots of goals as well. There's no doubt about it. This is City's first goal. The man to watch out for here is Burrows at the back. There's no way he can be in that position unless he can influence the play, and that means getting the ball. He plays both City strikers onside. Rosler comes in. It's a decent ball in, but Bush falling in puts it in his own goal. And I think the second goal's just as bad. You've got Lomas on the right-hand side. Coventry had 2 chances to clear it. First Dublin, that time, and then Dublin again. And they don't clear it. And when we freeze it here, you can see there's 8 blue jerseys in that box and nobody in the penalty spot. Flitcroft comes in, and it's a very good goal, a good hit. But to their credit, Coventry kept going. Whelan, a nice little ball to the right-hand side to Strachan. And for an old man, he shows lots of strength and determination and a cool head, because when he gets into this position, it's a great ball into the box. Dublin gambles in the space, and an easy goal then.
He was in exactly the right place, Dublin, wasn't he, there?
Well, he just moved in front of the defender. But he's playing well, Strachan's playing well. They've got all to play for in the replay, a big prize. You know, a tie at Old Trafford against Manchester United.
Which will be our live match on Sunday week, yet to be seen. Ali Pickering and Peter and Love back into their starting lineup. Chelsea, not surprisingly, kept the side that beat Middlesbrough 5-0 last Sunday. The commentator, John Champion.
Pickering. Solako's continued his run. And that seemed to be a foul by David Lee. It's a Coventry free kick. 6 men in the box for Coventry. Aim towards Shaw. How did he miss? Well, Solako always likes to bend these in with his left foot. Well, Shaw has never scored for Coventry, and perhaps you can see why. Unlove. Unlove again. He really is a pacey customer, and the shot hits the post. Well, I think that took Kevin Hitchcock by surprise, but he did get a vital touch and actually pushed it onto the woodwork. Solako's corner. Goalkeeper maybe could have caught. This is Furlong. Boost is the last defender back. Furlong slipped him round the keeper and past the post. Coventry's assistant manager having a rest today. He deserves it a day after his 39th birthday. Now Hullet. Borrows. Steve Clark. Now Richardson, who might fancy a crack here. Oh, good ball to Whelan. Whelan beyond the keeper. It's 7 goals in 11 games for the £2 million man from Leeds. There's a great surge of relief around relegation-threatened Highfield Road, but wasn't the finish cool? No changes at half-time. Coventry, thumbing through their match programme, haven't had a half-time lead in their last 10 games, so one hopes they know what to do with it, or at least how to defend it. This is Whelan's cross towards Dublin. Unlove, clear chance, great save by Hitchcock. That could almost have sewn the game up. Now Solako. And finally out by Sinclair. Well, Unlove is wondering precisely why his name isn't now on the score sheet. Pickering's header to Solako. It came off his knee. Now Pickering. Header wide from Unlove. Rare moment of uncertainty from Ron Atkinson. Came off Clark. This is Solako. Now Pickering. Boost arrives. Oh, it bounced down and over the crossbar. It's difficult not to feel just a modicum of sympathy for David Boost, because you're told to head down. He did. And look what happened. Peacock. Wise to Petrescu. Chelsea really pressing hard. He's closing. Petrescu's cross, Hullet's header, and Gavin Peacock. Wonderful save by Brizovic. Well, he may well have earned his side valuable points with that particular block. Hullet did the sensible thing, and Peacock looked for all the world a scorer until that desperate plunge. Glenn Hoddle, who famously suffered at the hands of Coventry in an FA Cup final, isn't enjoying events at Highfield Road today that much either. Dublin. Whelan will chase that. Johnson has to be sure. The clearance goes straight to Solako. Whelan again. Now Dublin. Williams. Oh! The goalkeeper never moved. That went like a rocket from his left boot. The philosophy here seems to be to score plenty of goals and hope that you don't let quite as many in.
That's it, yeah. You know, I think Ron said when he signed me, he said looking to score 4 goals a game so we can win 4-3 or something. So, but no, you know, the clean sheet today, I mean, the defence and midfield, they were brilliant. You know, I don't think we'd have got the result we did without them. It was a great performance.
In any one season, you've got to win your 1-0, 1-0 games, and where you go and you defend against all the odds and come away and think, yeah, we scraped by today. But we haven't done that this season, so that's probably more satisfying doing it today, and hopefully we can carry on in that vein.
Every team has his potential. I think today Coventry played like for their potential. They played very well. They kicked it, they held it, and then But it's also good if you have these players. You have to play like that. There's nothing wrong with that. And we play in a different way, and we try to make.
With Manchester United waiting, neither side needed incentive to win this one. But Manchester City took the lead early on. Quinn's header turned in by Nigel Clough. His career on the up again, his second goal for the club, and the confidence clearly returning. City must have thought they'd seal the game right at the start of the second half. Niall Quinn coolly accepting his chance to score with a touch of class. His 6th goal of the season, all at Main Road. City surely cruising it. But almost inevitably they provided their usual trauma for their fans. Ali Pickering's cross after good work down the right should have been converted first time by Dion Dublin, but at least he got a second dig and gave Manchester City fans a few nerve-jangling moments. They're through though. 96 stands out in bold type tonight after a string of defeats. Had it not been for Steve Ogrizovic, it could so easily have been a win. This effort from Jan Argafiotov deserved more.
Harry Gratian and Roger Farrant with those words. Well, it's getting tight at the bottom with Manchester City, one of 4 teams locked together on 25 points above QPR and Bolton. Newcastle's lead.
The West Ham side, they were in the danger zone themselves a matter of 5 weeks ago, but 5 wins on the run took the pressure off the Hammers. They were keen to not to start the slip back towards the mire. It's Clive Tilsley in the commentary box.
What a difference a month makes. When these two teams met at the end of January, they were 3 points and just 1 place apart in the relegation rat race. Since then, West Ham have had 5 wins and have moved clear of danger. Coventry have managed only 5 points and are still up to their necks in it. Another £3.5 million has recently been invested in a Premiership future for Coventry. Number 30, Liam Dace, the former Birmingham defender, and number 16, Ian Jess, the Scottish midfield player from Aberdeen, both make their second appearance in a team which sees Peter and Love restored to the left wing. The home team recall a Zimbabwean, the away team a Croat. That's the way of things these days. Slaven Bilic is back alongside a rejuvenated Julian Dix in a 3-man West Ham central defence. The Portuguese international, Danny, is only a substitute though. Martin Bodnam, who presided over Manchester City versus Newcastle United last Saturday, will be counting up the goals again for us today, hopefully. The rough guide to relegation says that 40 points should be enough for survival. Coventry City start the day on 25, with 10 more games to come after this one. This is Ian Bishop. Ian Dowie with his former Crystal Palace teammate Richard Shaw, obviously in close attendance for much of the day. Ron Atkinson knows only too well the perils of predictions. 6 years ago, his Sheffield Wednesday team were relegated with a total of 43 points. Daesh leaving it for Ogrizovic, sure not. A few teething problems for the New Look Coventry defence. Julian Dix in the New Look West Ham defence, finding Ian Dowie. Michael Hughes scampering forward in support of him. He's got ahead of Burrows, and Ogrizovic had to make a good save. Hughes stole a march on Burrows. And from Dowie's pass, stung the fingertips of Steve Ogrizovic. Just got enough on it. Corner towards Dix, Ogrizovic in the crowd, then Reaper, then Bilic, and then a header from Cottee, which has got in. West Ham in front inside of 2 minutes. And how how many challenges were there on the West Ham men inside the Coventry box? Not many. Grizovic did his level best. The clearance was unconvincing. 1 unchallenged header, 2 unchallenged header, 3 unchallenged headers. Cotti goes into double figures for the season. Claimed by Ian Jess. This is Noel Whelan. Turn into Sirocco, that's 1-1. Just what Coventry needed, an immediate reply. Noel Whelan, who scored some spectacular goals for Coventry in his short time with the club. This time, provider for John Solarco, using his left foot, coming in from the right-hand side to equalise. Coventry have used him on the right 3 times in recent months, and they've won all 3 games. He's on the right today, and he's on the mark. It's his first for nearly 2 months. Here is Solarco. Whelan, who created his goal. Borrows. Headed by Reaper, has fallen for Whelan. Yes, stretching a little. He took his hamstring in training on Thursday, Noel Whelan. He was a slight doubt for this game. And he was just having to reach for that volley a little bit. Poked at it. David Burrows. Liam Daish. Noel Whelan has come short. Unlove has gone on here to the edge of the box. Reaper had height and reach advantage. Cotti has done well to find Dowie. And now Cotti again, wouldn't come for him. Daish just managing to gather it in. Looked as if it had slipped out of his control for a second. Dublin on. Here goes Whelan. Onside. Great chance. 2-1. What a signing he's proving to be. Noel Whelan gives Coventry City the lead after 15 minutes. 8 goals in 14 games for the club. Ron Atkinson says that he reminds him of Alan Shearer at the same age. He's only 21, Whelan. And he took that so coolly. Maybe he's as good as Shearer is at 25, then it really will be a good bit of business. Good recovery by Coventry. Hughes. Cotti. Potts has gone on into the box. Daish made a challenge. West Ham have a throw. Potts. Broke off Ian Jess for a West Ham corner. Approaching the midpoint in the first half. Grizovic did what he could. There's Reaper, and there's the equaliser. Mark Reaper makes it 2-2. Steve Grizovic couldn't punch the ball out of harm's way. And Reaper, who scored only his second goal for West Ham in the match between these two at Upton Park in January, has blasted in his third goal for the club in the rematch. They're all around Grizovic, but he didn't get anything from the referee for Bilic's challenge, and he didn't get much on the punch. Reaper got plenty on the shot. Two new boys getting in each other's way, and Williamson has got Potty free. And Grizovic stood up well then. He's a big man, Steve Grizovic, and Tony Coddy couldn't find a way past him. After Jess and Daesh had found themselves on different wavelengths. Bishop, Potty, Bilic, and Grizovic saves again, Potts, and Grizovic saves again. But where have his defenders gone? Well, he can't believe that West Ham are getting through to him so easily. But he didn't go down to ground there, and that's why he was able to make the save. And no sooner had that moment of danger passed than another one occurred, an even better chance for Bilic, and then a half chance for Potts, who scores goals about as frequently as the eclipse of the sun. And Grizovic blocking out the light. Salako runs straight into Dix. Dowie on to Hughes, and now Cotty, and now Hughes, and West Ham have got another chance. Well, he's every right to be furious. Michael Hughes didn't make him make a save in the end, but the openings are coming thick and fast for the visitors. Coventry are creating quite a few of their own, but it's a very loose game. Dublin finding Salako. Stoppage time at the end of the first half, which doesn't seem to have stopped for 1 instant. It's been goals, goals, goals. 2 in the first 7 minutes, 4 in the first quarter. Great fare for the armchair viewer, not so great on the nerves of the committed. But after all the thrills and spills, we're back where we started, all square. The versatile Paul Williams being introduced for Coventry City at the start of the second half in place of David Burrows, who has a hamstring injury. The first half of the Upton Park encounter produced no goals at all. The second half saw West Ham go 2 up, and then Coventry draw level, then Ian Dowie win it for the Hammers with 5 minutes to spare. I wonder if we'll have to wait that long for another goal today, or whether those sport managers have told their defences to tighten up a bit. His Coventry career actually began with victory over West Ham here just over a year ago. Since then, the players have been coming in at the rate of about 1 per month, and the money going out at the rate of about 1 million per month. Good push there, was there, by Potts? And they've managed to keep it for Jess. Here's Dublin. Always plenty of Coventry men in the opponent's box. They do go for it. Dublin just trying to pull off Dix. Nicely done by Whelan. Bilic was the defender outfoxed, but he recovered. Another penalty appeal. Referee was very well placed. Bilic it was who, struggling to recover his ground really, made the tackle. Dix. Dowie. Here goes Roland. Now Hughes. Came off Shaw. Williams strong enough to hold off Dowie. Richardson. Here's Jess. Again the game very stretched. Bishop with a challenge. Dix with a riposte. Hughes. Dix. Wrapped his boot around a little bit too much. Screwed it well wide. Another second look. Well, Bilic's foot went between Whelan's feet, and that's when he might just have got something of the ball. A lot of people calling for television evidence to be used to decide things like that, but even when you look again, it's sometimes not that clear. Dublin's done well. Well, he did the difficult bit. Held off Dix, instant control, then he had a bit of time. That was terrific play. He'd sit up for him quite kindly and he just couldn't resist. Maybe had time for another touch. You understand that, you're a better man than I. Shaw. Whelan. Curious with Salako, he wanted better support from his colleague there. He has a lot of talent, and he has a will to win too. Here is Salako. On a corner from Roland. Coventry will bring Shaw and Daish forward. Dublin there on the near post. Short for Unlove. Salako. Williams hit the post. Dublin. Header away by Reaper. Dublin again. And cleared by Williamson. Cottee on the break for West Ham. We had a let-up.